Alright everybody, and we are back with our next run. Next up we have Super Mario Bros. 2 by Stewie Cartman, and we have a couple commentators here with us as well. I'm going to go ahead and kick it all over to y'all. Good luck and have fun!
Yeah, thank you so much. I am Kurt's new brand, otherwise just known as Kurt. Joining me in the booth is Ethan RTA, and we have the privilege to commentate this run by Stewie Cartman, a legend in the 8-bit Mario community, probably best known for his Mario 3 prowess, but he's also very good at Mario 2 and Mario 1 as well. And today he's going to be running all power-up mushrooms, so he's going to be going into each level and collecting, in most cases, both power-up mushrooms, which you don't typically get in the speedrun. And he'll be doing this on both the NES and Super Nintendo All-Stars version, which have significant routing differences. So whenever you're ready, Stewie, let's get underway.
Give me a countdown and I'm ready.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
I really like this category because you get to see so many areas of the game that you don't typically see. You know, in any percent or like all levels, like you get to see more of the game, and I just always love that.
Yeah, and we definitely will be doing some pretty major skips in this category still, but there's going to be some times where we go off the beaten trail a little bit and go into some slightly hidden areas to collect power-up mushrooms. Stewie already getting the first. You notice he's carrying an enemy with Toad, and missing an input there a little bit.
That's like the first area where you can get lag in the game, I feel like, too, is right around that important jump that you have to make.
Yeah, a little safety turn back this go around. Safety 1-ups, never a bad idea. Yeah, Stewie in this game love to
I thought you could make that.
Have some eat and input issues here. Anyway, so Toad runs faster when carrying heavy items, and this game considers enemies and blocks to be heavy items. Toad's the only character that runs faster when carrying items like that, so we will be seeing pretty heavy doses of Toad here. He's going to be going for a wrong warp here, and he gets it. Squeaking through the floor, tricking the game into thinking he went through the door. And now we're on to Birdo here. So nearly every level has a Birdo, so this will be a common final enemy for a lot of the levels. And then every third level will also have a boss.
And you see different Birdo colors. Depending on the Birdo color, the Birdo will do different things. Like, you know, pink ones only shoot eggs. You'll see red ones that shoot fire or eggs, and then the green ones only shoot fire.
You know, I just realized I shouldn't have taken that 1-up in 1-1 because I'm going for the Master Skip.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. So these deaths are intentional. He's doing this so that he can set up a wrong warp and skip the boss in 1-3.
Yeah, so there's a pretty crazy skip that involves several intentional deaths, and I don't necessarily understand how it works mechanically, but it does, and Stewie's an expert, so I'm going to trust him with these intentional deaths. So yeah, we're going to go in here. It's kind of hard
to explain. It's pretty in-depth, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of broken game at times, and this is one of the stranger glitches. It's actually outlawed in a lot of the main categories since you don't end up finishing a few of the levels. But the name of the game in this category is simply to collect each and every one of the power-up mushrooms, so finishing levels is not mandatory. And that aspect of the speedrun is going to be very exploited on the All-Stars version, which has saving and quitting.
And like, he had to enter that Birdo room to initiate the wrong warp, or to start for the wrong warp itself. Otherwise, you would not be skipping Mouser if you didn't already enter that room.
Yeah, so Mario 2 keeps...
Oh, go ahead.
Can I cut in real quick? Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but I have two things. First off, I love how things are outlawed. I don't know why I like that phrasing so much, but that is wonderful. But even bigger, thank you so much to MH Zoda, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, for that $100 donation.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, every bit helps, and we definitely appreciate those donations. And it looks like you're putting it towards Curse of the Moon 2 upgrade to Legend Hunter incentive. So guys, make sure you check out those incentives as well. We have some really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, thank you so much for the generous donation. While that was going on, we saw Stewie clipped through the ground using a potion in 1-1 and ended up in 1-3. So it's definitely not something you typically see in the game, but it's part of this elaborate glitch setup that he's doing with these intentional deaths and game overs. That's going to let him skip the final boss.
Earlier.
Yeah, so that's one of the tougher clips in the game right there.
I feel like it's harder when you're not small.
Yeah, I feel like the damage animation gives you a second to think about your position, because the position really matters here. You have to be over the chain and just right so that if you press up when the enemy is about to hit you, you warp down.
There we go.
Oh, there we go, perfect.
Yeah, so
a lot of this game's difficult.
Yeah, so that trick there requires both initiating the clip at the correct time, but also, as Ethan mentioned... Yep, just kidding. We skipped Mauser. So that's what those intentional deaths were for. But on that clip he did, he needed to be at a particular spot horizontally on that chain. If you're too far left, it won't work. You need to be far enough right so that the enemy lands on you, but close enough to the center that you can still do the clip. But yeah, now we're into 2-1 here, and this is a level, I believe, that only has one power-up mushroom, so there's 2 levels in the game that only have one. This and 6-2. Yeah, we're going through it. Everyone's favorite, the digging sections here.
You can't get enough of it.
So there's an intentional slowdown. I'm going to do it right there to let that Shy Guy go by. And it should set up a better pattern for the star, and it looks like it worked.
So Stewie does this quickly, and this is looking good so far.
Yeah, the star was a little further to the right, but...
I bonked the stairs right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the star wasn't in like the best position you can get. It can be further left, and then it just gives you more time to get to Birdo, but that's one of the few spots where you collect 5 cherries, it spawns a star, and then you can just run right into Birdo and immediately kill it instead of waiting for the eggs to appear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, depending on... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that won't be the only star kill we'll hopefully see in these runs, though.
Yeah.
It is also worth noting in that level you can potentially get screwed over by the game where if there's too many sprites on the screen, for whatever reason the game chooses to despawn the star.
Yeah, of all the things it could despawn, like one of the bullets maybe? No, it's gotta despawn the star.
Yep. Yeah, so the Sniffets, which are basically Shy Guys that shoot bullets, they work on a global timer from the start of the level as to when they shoot, and if they happen to be all shooting at the same time when you collect that 5th cherry, the game says, nope, there's way too much on screen, I'm not going to give you a star. But Stu didn't run into that. Alright.
Yeah, and ideally that's why he slowed down, was to like get a really good star spawn and avoid any bullets, but...
Yeah, and now back to more screens of digging.
I don't know how I didn't get hit there.
Yeah, I was really expecting that to hit you, but that was nice. It was all part of the plan. An expert digger.
Are we sure about that?
A big part of the digging in this game is tricking the red Shy Guys into moving away from you. So anytime they change level, they start walking in the direction that you're in. And so you kind of got to do a little bit of zigzagging to create a platform for them to land on and then walk away from you. And Stewie hasn't had any issues so far with the digging. The next level has some tricky spots, but I think he'll navigate it just fine.
Oh, gold.
And he showed off Ooh, a gold! Let's go! He showed off a really cool thing you can do when you have a block against a Birdo. If you throw the block and you're like, it's within range of Birdo, and Birdo shoots an egg, you can make it bounce off of the egg, then you get under the block, it bounces off of you, and it's just 3 really fast hits on Birdo, and it really speeds up the boss fight.
Yeah, it's one of the cooler strats. They did patch that in the All-Stars version, unfortunately. They made it so that mushroom blocks won't bounce off of your head, so you can get at most 2 hits at a time. Yeah, the block will bounce off the egg, but not off of your head.
Oh, yeah.
Also, he just did a double jump, where if you run like basically touching an enemy and then you jump, it treats it as though you're standing on top of the enemy, so it lets you jump a second time when you're already in the air.
Which was also patched in All-Stars.
Yeah.
Sad.
All-Stars did a few things wrong, but a lot of things right.
Yeah, I like to joke that they patched all the fun glitches and made the other glitches harder to do.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
On to more digging. So in this one, we're gonna dig down, but we're also gonna climb back up. Right now, we're going down and getting a key for the locked door that Stewie passed a couple screens ago.
Wasn't that 5 cherries? Or am I just miscounting?
We'll find out when you grab another one. I feel like that's okay. 1 away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no big deal. You don't need a star in this level. It does make a couple sections a little easier.
No, wrong word.
Mind if I cut back in real quick?
Yeah,
Go
sure.
for it.
Absolutely.
Alright, thank you to the Bagler 5 for that $25 donation, saying, in quotation marks, I'm assuming this is supposed to be sarcasm. Stewie isn't so great, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Stewie is awesome. Thank you so much, Bagler, for that donation.
Oh, thank you, Bagler.
Yeah, Bagler and Stewie are both esteemed SMB3 players who have made their way over to the superior SMB2.
I love that he keeps that running joke alive of, he isn't so great, are you kidding me?
So we're riding a carpet here, gonna climb up several screens.
Only we could do the task version of this.
Yeah, the pass has some pretty nutty stuff going on here on this screen to avoid using the carpet too much.
Yeah, it's like too hard to describe unless you really know some of like the more obscure mechanics of the game. But he did do a jump off of a vine, where so if you're holding an up right or an up left and you're about to fall off a vine, you can press jump and you jump off of it instead of just falling.
Yeah, and that was an intentional death there to respawn the potion, so that we can collect the other mushroom very quickly, like a pro.
Yeah, why did Nintendo do that? Just force us to take more deaths in this game.
Yeah, there is another potion, but it takes longer to get.
Ooh, that was a smooth fight, and then stacking the 2 mushrooms on top so you don't have to charge or jump or anything, you just get straight into the hawk gate.
And
another gold!
Spicy. Yeah, I was gonna say, that seemed like it could have some gold potential. So in the regular all levels run, this is typically a level where Princess is used to skip a gap, and it's the only level where she shows up. Unfortunately, in this category, you don't get to see Princess because the gap skip doesn't end up saving you any time. So we're gonna again abuse Toad's faster running.
For a split second, I thought I entered the door too early.
Yeah, he has to make sure he enters the door after the bomb explodes. Otherwise, he just has to wait again and put down another bomb, but no issue there.
Yeah, and Stewie just did a jump off the side of the ladder onto the ceiling and is now running across the whole level. Imagine if we knew about this as kids.
Imagine thinking you can pull off a vine jump as a kid, though. I don't know if I could have.
That's
Oh, I
fair, too.
definitely couldn't have, no way.
Yeah, so in this game, as you exit a ladder, vine, or chain, you get either 1, 3, or 8 frames to perform a jump. So if you're just holding right or left as you exit the vine, you only get 1 frame. If you are holding up right or up left, you get 3 frames with everyone but Luigi, who gets 8 frames to do a jump. So for long vertical levels with lots of vines, Luigi tends to be the easiest choice. You got some mean mushroom block bouncing, love to see it.
And some mean Birdo RNG.
So, depending on the... That was pretty mean. Birdo.
Yeah, Birdos shoot fire. I mean, it's random depending on how much HP Birdo has. The more HP it has, the less likely it is to shoot any fire. But at full HP, it just shot a few fireballs, so that was just a pretty rude Birdo.
Yeah, before Birdo takes damage, there's a 1 in 8 chance that each shot is going to be fire, and that chance goes up by, I believe, a 16th each time Birdo takes a hit.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, what am I doing? That door's locked.
Yeah, just had to
Don't go for the key. And he's gonna show you like I'd say a pretty major skip in 3-3.
I'm surprised I didn't get hit there.
Yeah, that was close. Every character, if you hold down until you start flashing, you get a very high jump from the character. And by throwing that ninja down and waiting for it to jump, you can skip so much of this level. Like, normally you'd have to climb up this huge room, grab a key, come all the way down and go back to that door that Stewie tried to enter a second ago. But you skip all that, and you just do a jump off of a ninja. I mean, how much time does that save? Do you know?
Maybe at least a minute.
Yeah,
It's
I was
crazy.
gonna say a minute or possibly a minute and a half. Because even with that skip, this is one of the longer levels in the game, but Stewie just skipped half of it.
Oh no, I'm gonna get hit by ninjas, never mind.
Yeah, cheeky little run under the ninjas. So the ninjas that run back and forth are programmed so that they'll jump when you get close to them if you're on the same level as them. So that's a little mechanic that Stewie just abused there.
Wow, I cannot believe that hit.
Yeah, so this is a trickier Mauser fight than the first. It takes 5 bombs
I was
instead
gonna
of
say,
3
if
to
that
kill
didn't
it.
hit.
Yeah, and then also the platform being higher makes it harder, especially with Princess. When she's small, has a hard time getting bombs up there. But generally speaking, if you're learning this game, placing the bombs where Mauser throws them from tends to be a pretty good trick to consistently get hits, and Stewie had a pretty clean fight there. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, especially if you're like a small version, you only have 1 HP or whatever, that fight is so difficult. Especially for like Toad, oh my gosh. It's so tricky. And grabbing that potion's really difficult to do while avoiding the enemy.
Yeah, this one
That's
looks fairly
probably the
simple,
hardest
but
mushroom to get.
I was just gonna say that might be the hardest mushroom in the game to do cleanly. So taking damage there is, I mean, it's only a tiny time loss, but as long as you survive it, you did well. Popping in the rocket. These actually work on a frame rule system. There's not a ton other than the Birdo patterns that works on a frame rule system in this game, but those rockets can only take off once every 64 frames, which is a little over a second.
Honestly, I was confused as a kid when I'd get to the rocket, like why it was even in the game in the first place. It feels so out of place.
It does.
How dare you? How dare you, Ethan?
I mean, I love it, don't get me wrong. Also, one of the few levels without a Birdo at the end. Just an orb waiting for you.
They kind of do feel out of place.
But they are cool, just so Kurt knows I'm not offending the rocket.
Thank you. Alright, so this Bezo section can be very scary for a casual playthrough, but if you're constantly holding right and run, the pattern's going to be the exact same every time. You don't even actually have to be holding run to get the same pattern. But when you start moving back and forth to dodge them, the game's means of spawning those takes over, and it can be pretty tricky. But once you've played it a few times, it's pretty easy to navigate.
Oh yeah, when you learn the speedrun, that's a very stressful part, I would say. Yeah, like at first, and then you're like, oh, this isn't too bad.
Yeah, and then once you're used to it, it's one of the freest screens in the game. Now, speaking of out of place, there are both whales and rocket ships on that screen.
It's just normal, okay?
So Stewie, careful to collect 4 cherries before that, so he can go back, get the 5th, spawn a star here, and use this to take care of Birdo. And
It's really cool to be able to just-
satisfying.
Oh yeah, and walking over the spikes without an issue is pretty nice too. You don't always get to do that, but this category lets you. And a
Yeah,
gold!
all that extra HP gives you tons of iframes. So this is a level where we're going to go on a much different route than the typical all levels. Luigi and Princess can skip 90% of this level, I would say, with one big jump. But there's a mushroom halfway in between the dev-intended route on this level. So it ends up being faster to use Mario or Toad. They just are a little bit better and speedier at jumping.
And it's such a hard level too, especially on the way down. You'll see why, but you get chased when you're holding onto a key, and it's kind of difficult. So when you're Luigi or Peach and you just skip all of that, it's so good.
Yeah, and you may be asking, Luigi has the biggest jump, why wouldn't he be used here? And while he does jump higher than the other characters, it's a slow jump. It takes a while to build up that vertical speed, and he also falls slower than the other characters. So while he's great on vines, vertical platforming sections are pretty awkward with Luigi.
Yeah, and you'll notice that Stewie paused just now. If you do one of those charge jumps where you start flashing and get the higher jump, and you're holding an item, if you hold down run at the same time, you just immediately throw the item when you jump. So to get around that, you just do the jump, and then you pause, start holding down run, and then you let go, and it doesn't throw the item. Otherwise, he would have thrown that potion immediately. But yeah, that's how we get around that. Yeah, All-Stars, you can charge a jump with an item in your hand while holding run, and, you know, you jump. Exactly what you'd expect, but, yeah, not in this version.
Oh, how did I not get hit? Oh my god.
That was good.
Oh, never mind.
Oh my gosh.
Got the extra HP, though. It's all good.
Get in the door.
Yeah, it's such a scary portion.
That is probably casually one of the hardest sections in the whole game.
It
And
is.
even speedrunning it is extremely stressful if you have to take the long route in this level.
Oh, I almost died on that the other day when I was racing you. It was terrifying.
That's never good.
Oh, clean.
Very clean. So that's a strat popularized by Rupert83 to kind of trap the small fries in a little containment zone there.
Yeah, so depending on when a fry guy has 3 HP, and whenever you hit him the third time, depending on when you do that and his position, the small fries go in different areas. But you kind of put up that wall of mushroom blocks, and that makes it extremely consistent. You don't really have to worry about where they're gonna land, because usually they're all right next to each other, and it's a very quick and just good strat.
Yeah. So you saw Stewie pausing there. These are jumps that Luigi typically can make, but when you're holding an item in this game, Luigi, Princess, and Mario don't jump as high as they typically do, which makes it harder to make certain jumps. So there's smart caution there.
And good. It's honestly pretty good to pause right there when you're going to throw that potion, because if you throw it above on the ceiling, can you still enter it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so he didn't want that to happen. He was pausing so that he was still able to throw down the potion and go to the other world. So I guess we never mentioned you need potions to do that. To get any mushroom, you have to throw down a potion, go through the door, and then it spawns.
Yeah, that's true. That is, you know, for us, that's probably an obvious mechanic, but if you're not familiar with the game, it's a little weird. So the potions create doors, and you go into subspace through those doors where everything from the overworld is there, but it's mirrored left and right. And there are some hidden things like mushrooms and coins for the slot machines there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if the potion door is off screen, you can't enter it.
Okay.
So the potion door takes fairly low priority in this game, so if you place it over another door, or even at the bottom of a vine or ladder, you can't enter it. So you do have to be very cautious about where you're placing it sometimes. Some nifty little movement here to grab the Shy Guy, clear space. So this is a level that does have 2 mushrooms, but there's only 1 potion. So this may seem like a convoluted route here, to go into that base twice to get the potion, but it's the only option.
Love to know who thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, I certainly did not know there were 2 mushrooms in this level as a kid.
Oh yeah, I had no idea. I bet I didn't get a single one. This is a pretty difficult level too. Like if you don't know about how to jump off a vine, this climb is so difficult. Oh, that was interesting.
I don't even know what just happened there.
It's like you almost got a damage boost up there, but the game said no.
I think it looked like he went actually really high and he had to wait to come back down. I think
Like I couldn't even find the vine or anything.
Yeah, so he was so far. If you take damage as Luigi, since he has an extremely high jump, for some reason taking damage will shoot you really high up. So it had to wait for Luigi to come back down closer to the vine for him to grab it.
Some fish brutality here.
And a nice Birdo.
That was a very nice Birdo fight. That's one of the most awkward Birdos to take care of in this game. There's a gap in the bridge you're on, right where you'd want to stand as Luigi.
I call it the worst Birdo fight in the game. I hate it.
I think it is.
Yeah, that one and 3-2 are for me the hardest too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and the fish is in the way, and you don't want to hit the fish with an egg. Like, you just have to navigate everything about that fight really carefully, or else you lose an egg, or you get hit by something, or you fall in the pit. Like, yeah.
And it's GG.
There's a lot to deal with.
Safely stash that door away. Spawn another one. Break that for later. Alright. Back up to 4 HP, and on to the rest of the level. Grabbing the Bagler block here, there is a slightly faster strat that wouldn't really make sense for a marathon, but, you know, Stewie here knows about the Bagler block, grabs that for the speed boost, and is on his way.
And you'll notice he threw that before he got to the door. The tree in the background, you can't throw mushroom blocks when it's behind you. It kind of treats it like it's in the foreground for some reason. I think this is the only level where you'd see that or experience it.
I think if you brute force it, you maybe can, but the sprite just glitches out.
Yeah. So that's why you just throw it before you even get there. Don't worry about it and just go about your day.
Yeah, it's one of the few background elements you can interact with in this game. Mm-hmm. And so Stewie here spawned a second carpet, and what that does is it confuses the game, and when you hop on the first carpet after spawning the second carpet, you get a massive speed boost. Alright, Stewie throwing these rocks against the back wall, trying to get multiple hits.
Come on.
Nice, though.
So perfect throw, and by perfect I mean lucky.
That's a
throw.
goal.
Get all 5.
Yeah, you throw it against the wall. It doesn't matter if you're standing still or whatever you're doing with the boulder. You throw it against the wall, and you just really hope that it hits a couple times, and then Claw Grip starts moving left, so it hits him even more.
Going for the cursed Cobra grab there. Absolute Giga Chad gaming.
Yeah, that grab, if you carry it throughout the entire level, I think it saves about 0.2, maybe? It's a tricky one, but it looks sweet.
And you gotta love a category where you get to carry the head of a Pokey around. Some Pokey on Pokey violence. What is going on?
Yeah, I'm not used to that. Oh my gosh.
So after a slightly rough start, Stewie has been schmoving here. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I lost track of how many golds he's gotten already.
I think that's
All
my
of them.
third.
I'm gonna go with all of them. I like that answer more.
Works for me.
Actually, I feel like this Birdo can be tricky, depending on where it is after you throw the first one. Yeah, and see it shoots a fireball immediately out of nowhere. Like, the green Birdos can be very difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Alright, and on to the other level that only has a single mushroom in it. Going back to our boy Ouija.
And I apologize for the strat too, Kurt.
Yeah, so Stewie chooses to use a, in my opinion, extremely difficult and unreliable strat here, but it works for him and it scares me every time, and I'm terrified, and oh, that's why.
You can tell he talked about this beforehand. It's like, I'm so sorry I'm doing this, I told you I would.
Yeah, there are so many different ways to do the levels in this game quickly, that routing really comes down to a matter of personal comfort in this game more than anything else. You need strats that you're going to be comfortable with. Most things...
No.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Alright, we got some improvisation.
One place to land.
Alright, so
I actually don't really know how to get out of bait. No. I know how to
Yeah, just wait for them to despawn, I would say, and then you should be fine. I would imagine.
You can spawn another Bezo here.
Oh, no.
If you jump out to the left, you can spawn another Bezo.
Yeah. Let's just let the Bezo spawn, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna do a pretty far left
We're just gonna abort that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that actually works really well. That would set you up in a good position.
We're moving all the way back here. Alright, some forbidden strats here.
Okay, I guess it completely despawned because of sprite overload. So...
Oh yeah, that many birds will despawn of just about everything in the game.
Okay, so...
Never before seen routing on the fly. Stewie keeping his cool here.
Yeah, I mean, if anything goes wrong in this level, just surviving is impressive. I mean, as you can see, there's literally nothing underneath him, so you do one thing wrong, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, oh, we got the Amazon Prime with Luigi. Oh, no! Taking the death.
I didn't know you could walk
Yeah,
on those
I
as
didn't-
Luigi.
I didn't... Okay.
So 6-2 is
No.
a bit of a pain
okay.
at times.
We're just
Oh,
gonna
no.
play the level normally.
Okay,
Yep,
yeah,
whatever
now
works.
with
'Cause we're on
0
our
extra
last life.
lives, this is probably a good time for some caution here.
Oh, this sucks now because I can't death warp in 6-3.
Oh,
we might-
yeah.
We might be seeing some dev-intended 6-3 as a result of this. Or possibly some backtracking. But in the meantime, during this cozy Albatos ride, I'd just like to plug the Mario 2 community, which has really entered a golden age here. There was a Summoning Salt video which really increased the popularity. It showed up in the Nescathlon recently, Big 20 before that. There are a ton of new runners here, tournaments with cash prizes coming up. It's just, there's never been a better time to get into Mario 2 speedrunning. And so anyone out there who's watching this and thinks this could look fun, I'd highly encourage you to reach out to Stewie, Ethan, or myself for any resources, their tutorials. It's a terrifically fun speed game. It can be frustrating at first. The first week or two, the learning curve is steep, but it's a ton of fun. Highly encourage everyone to give it a shot.
And the community is super helpful to anyone that wants to learn. We're just always grateful to have more runners, so yeah, definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, super wholesome community. Everyone's super welcoming to new runners and always willing to lend a hand. It's honestly been a lifesaver for me through some rough patches here. So shout outs to the community.
Oh, and we've got a weekly we just started doing, so lots of action.
Yeah, weekly randomizer races. Macobra, another Mario 3 convert, recently came out with a randomizer, which is a ton of fun. So yeah, the 2U community is, by its humble standards, booming right now. And Stewie is on the forefront of that. He's been around in the category extensions for a while. Some of us newbies are just finding them. But Stewie's a legend.
Oh, I shouldn't have gone down here. Alright, Ethan, roast me for the slot machine.
Oh, the slot machine, yeah, so after you beat the level, if you get coins, you wait for a slot machine to appear, and if you time it right, then you get a couple of 1-ups. So I'll only roast you if you don't get 1-ups.
Okay.
But if you do get a 1-up, I'd say it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely hit the slot machines or we're just gonna have to pack it in.
I could
Yeah.
just take an intentional game over in 7-1.
Yeah, you
Just
can
in
do that.
case 7-2 doesn't Ethan?
Yes, if you take a game over, you get all your lives back and you start at the beginning of the world, which doesn't really matter if you're in 7-1.
Easy trick.
Easy. So as you
Very
can see,
nice potion jump there.
yeah, if you throw the potion at the right height against the wall, after it bounces on the wall, you land on it, and then you can jump. And since Luigi can jump super high, you get over the wall, and life's good. And Princess can also do that, but...
Wow.
And, of course,
Okay.
bad bird RNG. Typical.
Okay, I gotta be careful now.
And so you may ask, why did Stewie backtrack after doing so much of the level? Well, the answer is because this level is about 7,000 kilometers long. So there was still quite a bit to go where he turned back and cleanly disposing of Tri-Clyde. Very nice.
Oh, it's such a long level. It's a very high vertical climb. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
Nope.
Oh
Ooh.
no!
The time
Oh.
loss. Shoutouts
Alright,
to Bagler.
Shoutouts to Bagler and the slot strats here.
So I'm just gonna take an intentional game over to refill my lives.
Yeah, not a bad idea. This is a level that it takes a little bit longer to take an intentional death, but there we go.
There we go.
Alright, on to World 7. Alright, so this is a level that has some fairly major skips in the typical speedrun, so in all mushrooms we get to see a bit more of the level here. Entering this little shack that of course is a thing that exists.
I was trying so hard to remember what was on this side of the level, dude. When you were saying, like, you don't see this in the speedrun, I'm like, yeah, what do we see over here? Shoutouts to the coin for the slot machine.
Doing one for the memes.
Good.
Yeah.
See if I can get at least once.
I love how if you're at the edge of something and you pick up a plant, you can see it in the ground as it's being picked up, like through an object.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of jank in this game. Spawning the albatross, jumping on the pillars like a pro.
Oh, these things used to scare me so much. I was like terrified of. I would slow down for every single one and just like, be very slow about it because I was so worried about dying.
Yeah, what a pro Stewie is.
Ooh, we got lucky that it didn't. What you saw the two of those sniffets shooting bullets, and it can despawn the last sniffet that he used to get over that pillar.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that one.
Yeah, but luckily it doesn't have to worry about that. And this is a section where if you can do ladder jumps, it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, and ladder jumps with Luigi are considerably easier than with the other characters, Stewie making it look even easier than it is.
Yeah, that was a really good climb. And gray birdos are the same as green ones, they only shoot fire. I guess that one didn't really get a chance to, though. Oh no.
So close.
Oh.
Bagler slots.
Alpha Gaming sniff it grab there, not waiting for the shots. You love to see it.
Yeah, I did shot like right when he jumped up there.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
those ninjas
close.
are really annoying. If you unless you do the beginning section the exact same way, you won't know what pattern those ninjas will do.
Usually it's that first one that gets me every time.
Yeah, I typically get hit by the second one if I'm going to be hit by one of them, but it just depends. And I just want to mention how difficult this path is. I recently learned that this was a thing in this level, and I died so many times trying to get up here. It's so scary.
In most categories, you skip about 80% of this level. And, yeah, the dev-intended routes, there are 2 dev-intended routes in this level. You can go either way, and both of them are difficult. This is the so-called bottom route, and it is probably the harder of the 2.
Yeah, you'll see why we skip it.
It's definitely the harder. Most definitely.
Oh, so just go to the right side and... Okay. Man, I should have tried that. I just got hit over and over again when I was in here.
Okay, let's not try to do the
Yeah.
jump. It's not
It's
working.
alright, Ethan. You're still learning this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty new to the community, so forgive me.
Yeah, for those out there who are unaware, Ethan is one of the legends in this game.
Come on. I am holding
so-
up. I am holding up and right, aren't I?
Looks like it. So the reason why he's doing this, he wants to get on the ceiling again. Which, once again, skips a considerable amount of the level.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we're gonna
gosh.
have to have a
I've
discussion.
never
with
had this
the,
many tries.
The cleaning staff in Subcon is really slacking off, just letting grease all over these chains. What the heck? I'm filing a complaint.
Thank you.
There we go.
That has to be an OSHA violation.
I've never had
I mean,
to
I
take
wouldn't
that many
doubt it.
tries.
Dude, sometimes I feel like that's one of those things where if you get off rhythm, it just takes so many tries to
It
get a
definitely-
chain jump. Yeah, like you get a feel for it, but yeah, as soon as you get off the rhythm, it's tough,
It's
and you get like
cheesy.
3 frames to do it.
Yeah, you'll either get it first try or 12th try. There's no
Yeah,
in
exactly.
between.
Just like the 7-1 clip in SMB3.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't even want to think about that. Oh, and if you throw a potion over another door, it's essentially it acts as though the potion you threw didn't spawn. You just go through whatever door was originally there. So he made sure to avoid that situation and just threw it next to the door.
We're gonna get the other chain jump first try.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Oh, and look
Oh,
at that,
those I
2 in a
can do.
row. Yeah, ladder jumps are easier than chain jumps.
Yeah, it's a more definitive visual cue. It's easier to tell where the edge of the hitbox is.
Alright.
Yeah, like I feel
Oh
like
my
doing
God,
it this
again?
way is a lot harder than if you like jump into a chain while holding up, it puts you in a very consistent position. But the way he's coming at the chain, you can't even do that. So yeah, it's pretty tough to know exactly when you can input the jump to get it.
Yeah, the timing on chain jumps is... There are a lot of variables that go into it. Excuse me.
Shout out to having no idea what word cycle I'm on.
Oh, we don't need to know.
Shoutouts to Wart Cycles. Yeah, so Wart shoots bubbles every 4.2 seconds. It's kind of one of those global cycle things like Birdo eggs. So in like an any percent speedrun or something with a little bit more of a predictable 7-2 time, you get a feel for when you're going to arrive at war, and you can kind of set yourself up for a scripted fight that's a little bit easier than kind of freelancing it like Stewie's going to have to do here.
Also, we glossed over the fact that a key spawned outside of Birdo in the last 2 rooms. Normally you have to fight the Birdo, and then you get the key, but if you get to that room without taking the chain where the Birdo is, for whatever reason, the key spawns outside of Birdo and you skip a fight, so...
That was a really nice warp fight. Let's get some GGs out there for Stewie for completing the first half of this run.
That's a
GGWP.
Probably 39-10. Thank you.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Thank you.
So now we're going to switch over to the All-Stars version of this game, which, if for a casual playthrough, is basically identical except you get unlimited continues. But from a speedrunning perspective, there are quite a bit of differences. A lot of the glitches from NES do not work on the Super Nintendo version, and there's also an added save feature. So if you progress to World 5, for example, save and exit the game, the next time you go into the game, you can select to start in World 1, World 2, World 3, World 4, or World 5. And so we're going to abuse that mechanic here quite a bit to skip the final part of pretty much every world, I think. You know, so there were quite a few boss fights in the NES version. We're only going to get one in the Nintendo version.
Yeah, and for reference, the record on this version is almost a full minute faster than the NES one. It's not a full minute, but it's significantly faster.
What's Cool Kid's record?
I think it's 727, I want to say. Compared to the NES, which is an 813.5, I think?
Yeah, that's just for any percent. Although it is a faster version for all levels too. There are some weird behind-the-scene game mechanics that let you skip a bigger portion of 3-3 in this version. That's kind of the main difference. Okay, and Stewie went for a clip there. The clip on this version takes you to a different spot than it does on NES. So on the All-Stars version, if he had gotten that potion clip, it would push him to the end of the level here, close to the door that he's going to enter after collecting the next power-up mushroom here. But no big deal.
Yeah, it's not like a big deal at all if you miss it. I mean, it would save like a Birdo cycle or 2 or something if you got it, but if not, whatever. And this clip, at least when you're taking damage, it might be different. Yeah, it's significantly harder.
Yeah. So I had mentioned earlier that they patched all the fun glitches and made the other ones harder to do. Clips are one of those things that are much harder to do on this version. Depending on your
1-2 frame window.
Yeah, it depends on your horizontal position. You can get as few as 2 frames to time your up press.
Yeah, it's just way harder.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
There's a lot going on. This version of the game is a much more, I'd say, intense speedrun. There are fewer breaks.
Really? I overshot that?
The Bezo hitboxes are smaller, which allows for things like that. 6-2 is another scary spot for that reason.
Yeah, I actually think 6-2 doing the exact same route is significantly harder on this version.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna use a backup strat here.
Another fast carpet, it looks like, yep.
Very nice.
And well, your characters fall faster too in this version, right?
Yeah, the physics are ever so slightly different. Not something you would notice casually, but when you put in as many hours as Stewie has, the minor differences really add up. So going directly from NES to All-Stars can be quite challenging.
So what I tried to do there was a damage boost to get up to the top half. I'm pretty sure Luigi was not moving fast enough to get enough height.
And do you have to hold down jump for those?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't think I've really done a damage boost also, I wasn't sure. And you'll notice that he's gonna go for the kill on Birdo in this version because you can't skip Mouser.
Or can we?
Not yet known. Yeah, so World 1 definitely has significant routing changes, and save and quit doesn't even come into play yet. And we're already seeing no intentional deaths until that one. So this saves a little bit of time over going and grabbing the next potion, because we actually are going to use potions 3 times in this level. So we're going to use this potion here to collect the other HP, and then I'm going to save it as a surprise for what's happening on the next one.
Oh, did we mention that this one gives you more lives?
That log despawns, so that... Come on.
Come on. Oh no.
I'm surprised it didn't respawn at any point.
So am I.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Which is a jump you can make if you're holding onto an enemy and you have more speed. Then you can jump from that log, no issue. But if you don't have an enemy, I think it's a very tight jump if you can even make it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can tell, that log just doesn't like spawning.
So we are taking a warp, and you ask, but wait a second, we haven't played World 2 and World 3. Why are we skipping to World 4? Don't we need those mushrooms? And we do. And so the All-Stars version has save and quit. So we're going to save, we're going to quit, and we're going to go back to the menu, and we're going to select World 2. So we avoided playing the end of 1-3 there, and that's going to be a common theme in this run, where we take as many warps as we can and skip as many ends of levels using that same mechanic there.
If only we could do that in all levels.
I definitely
Someone needs to
died
find a
more
way.
times than I would like, so there's gonna be a couple one-ups we can take along the way.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Wait, was that 3 or 4 cherries? I lost count.
I lost count as well.
I looked away when you went to go grab one, so... Between the 3 of us, we have no idea.
No.
How many SMB2 runners
that
does
was
it take to
4,
count to
yeah.
5?
Well, you know, I get the exact same cherries every time, so I don't count necessarily. I just, you know, muscle memory carries me.
Yeah, you tend to know I need this one, I don't need this one.
I thought
in
I
most
missed one, so I wasn't
categories,
sure.
it's the same, but this category is so different that it requires a lot of minor variations that are just easy to lose sight of. But no big deal.
And usually the star spawns in a worse position, I feel like, on All Stars. I mean, I
Oh,
feel
it
like you have to
does.
wait longer. Yeah, if you don't wait at all, it's really tough. It's not very many frames you get to kill Birdo with its like normal position, but yeah, if you wait long enough, it's not a bad star spawn.
Yeah, so the horizontal position on the screen where the star spawns is another thing that's based on the timer that begins at the start of the level. So, you know, playing the level consistently each time gives you a predictable spot where the star will spawn, which, you know, for a PB attempt can make a difference.
So normally I would death warp after this mushroom, but since we had that World 1 blunder, I'm not going to.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the death warps that saves the least amount of time, so a good choice there by Stewie to preserve the lives there and live to fight another day. Live to death warp another day.
Yeah, that section with all those snakes in the vases too is actually really scary. If you're just trying to jump over them and, like, you know, if all of them spawn, it's extremely laggy too, on top of having to dodge a bunch of things, so yeah, pretty scary part.
I would have liked that star later.
Yeah, this dig is one of the harder ones to avoid everything between the Shy Guys and Sniff It, yeah.
Not sure how I didn't get hit there.
Yeah, narrowly avoiding another bullet, but it worked.
So Sniff It bullets no longer have active hitboxes after they collide with the wall, but Birdo eggs do, and that's something, you know, I lurk in a lot of casual playthroughs of this game because I don't have a life other than Mario 2, and it's a thing I see tricking a lot of people is they see a Birdo egg hit a wall and they think they're safe from it, but it can still get you.
Oh, yeah, the first time I played this version, that freaked me out too. I had no idea what happened. I've seen a lot of people, including myself, die to that, so yeah, it's a nice feature they added.
And so you may be asking, why Luigi here instead of Toad? Doesn't Toad get a speed boost from carrying items? This is a pretty long horizontal section. We're Luigi here. Grabbing this. And we're done with World 2.
And you can't do the double jump that he did in the NES version, so getting up to that door is actually a lot harder. It's very awkward.
It's extremely awkward to get up to that door without Luigi. You have to spawn Bezos at the right height so that you can jump on them and then to the upper level. But Bezo mechanics...
Mars for pointing that out for me. Mario 2.
Yeah, shout out to Mars. Another legendary Mario 2, or actually just Mario in general.
All-around gamer, yeah.
Yeah, he's good at all the games on All-Stars, for sure.
I think in my original route with this version, I chose Toad. And then he pointed out, why not use Ouija for that?
Yeah, in general, the world needs more Luigi. Especially the ducking Luigi sprite is just absolutely perfect.
But normally I would do a Death Warp, but again, I really don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to risk it, so... And if you exit the screen, yeah, you exit the screen, you come back, the potion respawns.
I feel like that's still faster.
Yeah, that's an awkward mushroom to get with the intended potion. You have to deal with that Panzer. It likes to get in your way.
See, it is easier to land on eggs in this version. Like, if you're, like, picking up a block on the same level, at least you can land on the egg without being hit by it easier.
It's another one of those subtle differences. Just the way you interact with Birdo eggs while you're picking other things up is slightly different, and it does, to Ethan's point, make a couple spots easier.
Yeah, it's pretty specific spots. I don't know if you definitely wouldn't notice it casually or anything, but in some areas it makes it a little easier.
This again?
The chain jumps of, or ladder jumps of doom.
The cleaning crew simply needs to get their act together, leaving butter all over the ladders.
Well, how about a Shy Guy even get up there? I guess, can they climb ladders?
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess not. They're not doing their job if they can.
Who knows what Shy Guys are up to when they're off screen?
It's true.
To my least favorite Birdo of the game. You typically would fight this Birdo as Princess in most categories, and her pickup speed is a major liability there.
Yeah, like, it's better for the rest of the level to be Peach, but as soon as you get to the fight, you have to know the timing really well, or it's harder.
Ahem, Ethan, it's Princess Toadstool.
I know. I was thinking about saying princess, but I didn't think you'd call me out.
I absolutely will call you out, Ethan.
Oh, no.
Toad grabbing a POW block. A POW block is considered a heavy item, so it gives Toad a speed boost here.
Yeah, depending on the side that you're on for these ninjas, that's the direction they'll go. And sometimes they swap. It swaps what ninja you're on when they're crossing by each other, but it can be a faster way to get up here than like doing ladder jumps.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going the intended route, that's actually significantly faster.
Yeah, ninjas can be extremely uncooperative in this game, though. But another save and quit, and now we're finally getting to World 4, which we warped to earlier. And I'm sure we're done with World 3, right?
Yes.
Right. Expertly navigating that deceptively difficult mushroom.
And for whatever reason, the rocket cycle on this one is significantly harder to reach, like the optimal cycle. I'm not sure why. I guess, oh, well, timers start differently in this game. In the other game, it starts after the level loads, but in this particular version, the timer starts on the character select screen. So that changes patterns. Yeah, so It seems like a minor difference, but it actually makes some things significantly harder.
Yeah, character selection does play into the level timer, so if you have a slow character selection, it's going to change the patterns you see in some spots.
Yeah.
Press Y there.
Back to the level with the scary Bezo section, the totally not out of place whales, and the totally not out of place rocket ship.
But the background at the first section of this level looks way cooler.
Oh, yeah,
I love that
definitely.
background that we just saw.
Yeah, shoutouts to Parallax scrolling on Super Nintendo. So I'm curious, those in chat, do you prefer the NES version or the Super Nintendo version of this game? So I know most speedrunners have a very strong opinion one way or another. I'd be curious to see if any gamers in chat have a preference for one, whether it's for the music, the graphics, the childhood memories of one. Turtle Bear Man saying, NES all day, son.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, feel like they don't like the Lego looking graphics in some of the boss fights. Like, it makes some things seem kind of out of place. It's a hard choice for me.
Yeah, and Raccoon Dog saying the GBA version. Can we get a mod in here to take care of this situation?
Oh, the GBA one's so bad. Oh my gosh. I mean, the sound bites are really funny. But yeah, you guys should try out the GBA version. It's a treat.
Shoutouts to Charles Martinet for his Wart voice acting. Mars with the Curveball Wii U VC version.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely didn't expect that.
Can we get a mod to show Mars the door, Kappa? I gave you a shout out, Mars, and then you come back with that nonsense? Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, Glitchcat saying he grew up with All-Stars but ended up preferring the NES version.
Yeah, like, I was leaning towards NES.
Yeah, I love the willingness to change your mind.
Well, that's the thing, like, both versions are extremely fun, and, I mean, unless you're going for a couple of glitches or something, or like a random wrong warp, I don't know, like, not a big difference in terms of gameplay.
And
the quality of life changes. Oh, yeah.
Game of the Year 33 years running now. Yeah, actually, next month is the 33rd anniversary of this game's release. At least the NES version. The All-Stars version came several years later, obviously.
We gotta celebrate. We have to do something for the anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Ethan RTA should probably beat all levels 33 times.
Oh my gosh.
What are we doing back in World 3?
Interesting. I thought you lied to me, Stu. You said we weren't coming back to World 3. I'm so betrayed.
I thought we were done here.
Alright, and we're taking yet another warp.
Yeah, so that'd take me like 12 hours or something to do that. I did the math.
Deal.
If it has to be done, you know? That's assuming I get like a 21 each time, so it'd be, yeah, oh man. Whatever, you know, we have to celebrate.
Yeah, well, if you just get a 20 every time, it'll go faster.
Okay, yeah, that makes the math checks out. You're not wrong. I don't know if it happens on this version, but if you jump at just at the right time when you're on one of these fish, it goes through you.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it happen yet.
Okay. That looked like it was half on the screen for me.
Yeah, that was a spicy mushroom position there.
Yeah, in our last race, I think did that happen to everyone? The fish went right through them? It happened to at least 2 of us.
I want to say it didn't happen to me, but I'd be lying.
Yeah, last time I did a randomizer race in 5-1, I took damage going through fish twice and died. It's for those familiar with the Mario 3 speedrun, it can be like how a few of the Koopalings jump really fast, and so your stomp doesn't register before your hitboxes overlap and you take damage. It's the same type of situation.
Sorry, I had a cough there.
Or the 3-2 fish. They always go through you. I mean, I know you can get around that, but no.
Yeah, so that's a common theme in retro Mario games, is sometimes the speeds just don't line up and hitboxes don't behave the way you want them to.
Or hitboxes.
Yeah, just a suggestion. Back in the level with 2 mushrooms but only 1 potion.
I'm glad they at least made that jump right there exactly as high as Luigi could jump.
Yeah, if they didn't, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, at least they had us in mind for this.
Yeah. Shout out Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah, and the stars and like this background's kind of cooler than the NES one. Not saying I'm picking a favorite, but you know, it does look pretty nice if I had to choose one.
Can be rough on those of us who like to use lots of visuals.
Take one roll at the slot machine for the memes.
You're the people's champ, Stewie. Move aside, Bagler.
No, that's Pooh Bear.
That's true. Yeah, a unique thing to this version too is if you have, since you have 2 jump buttons, you can hold one of them down while you're doing vine jumps, and it kind of makes the window easier. If you hold down a jump while you're running off the vine, you have more time to do a vine jump. So if you hold down one of the jump buttons and use the other to actively do the vine jumps, it actually makes it significantly easier, but kind of harder to control the exact height you want to go.
Yeah, there are a couple spots in this version where having 4 buttons that do 2 functions can be exploited for minor advantages. You know, things like picking up an object while running. You can use both run buttons to do that. But it... Oh, so close.
I didn't know it flashed. I thought you got it. I was getting pretty excited. Shoutouts to Bagler for the missed slot machine.
Shoutouts to Bagler.
Love you, Bagler. That was rude. Enter the door, please. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So if you're inside an enemy and you take damage, then it's moving. It moves you with it. So yeah, that's a really awkward position to be in.
Yeah, the way you interact with enemies during iframes in this game is very strange. On the NES version, you can actually exploit it to
wait a minute.
To clip through the ground in some places.
Do you have to break the blocks before doing the
potion?
potion?
We're gonna get rid of that door because there's another potion.
Some nice thinking on the feet there by Stewie. Taking a death, spawn us back towards the beginning of the level. Why do we want to move backwards, though? What is going on?
You know, I never thought about that being a death warp position. That's really smart. Cause ladders and doors you can't interact with. Like in the sense that it doesn't take you to a new level when you're in the
counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we warped to World 7 there, and now we're going back to World 6.
Yep, skipping every boss that we can, pretty much.
And yeah, if you take a death in Subspace Revere, you do lose a life in this game.
One other fun thing you can do in Subspace, if you die after collecting coins, the game doesn't count it as like a turn in Subspace, so you can keep farming coins.
Yeah, oh, really? That's a trick exploited in a category called P4 Lives, which is basically trying to max out the number of lives you can have in inventory.
What are we gonna see runs of that, Kurt?
Never. I will not do P4 Lives.
So I'm gonna take one try at the fast 6-2 route, and then if I mess it up, I'm just gonna play it casually and then just game over in 7-1.
Okay. Another minor difference, where that Phanto was, the mask enemy, there's no sand there, so ideally you would go to that space so you can skip digging a single section. Very minor time save, but it's just like in positions where there are cherries, you can just go there and then there's no dirt that you have to dig up, so it just skips, you know, like one tile of digging.
Yeah, some of the sand sections are a few of the only layout differences in this version versus the NES version. Like in World 2, it's a little narrower, and then there you can see the layout was a little different, plus there was a sand tile that you didn't have to dig.
Yeah, I feel like in this next Bezo jump is the one I just dislike the most on All-Stars, because the hitbox is so weird, but he doesn't have to do it, he just takes the other method. Nice.
Whew, alright.
That's it, there we go.
The jump still looks scary to me.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So, a fireball just went through Luigi there, and I apologies for not mentioning this earlier, but while you're in the pickup animation in this game, you don't have an active hitbox. So you can use that you can abuse that mechanic to safely pick up a mushroom block right before a fireball hits you, and the fireball will just pass right through you without causing any damage.
Yeah, and since Luigi picks things up slower than like Toad or Mario, and same with Peach, you have more frames to work with, and it's a lot easier. But as Toad, it's kind of tricky. I don't like going for it.
Yeah. And so we're seeing the reverse situation of 2-3 here, where that was Toad on NES and Luigi on All-Stars. Here we had Luigi on NES and Toad on All-Stars.
Also, shoutouts to that fancy door in this version, with like a gate covering it and everything. I completely forgot about that too. Oh my gosh. Oh, and if you're too close to a wall, you just can't throw things for some reason, so that's why Stewie has to like back up and avoid it.
They waited there because if the bomb explodes completely off screen, it won't cause damage to the wall.
Actually, wait a minute. Oh, I thought that was my last life. Yeah, but we can just game over. I'm already at World 7.
Alright, intentional game over there. So he'll be selecting World 7 here with a full set of lives. At basically no time loss versus just saving and quitting to come here. And I believe the rest of this run is going to look pretty similar to the NES version.
I can't think of like any changes, except for the beautiful backgrounds on the SNES version.
One last try at the slot machine.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get it. I can feel it.
It's gotta happen. I believe.
Just be safe.
Nice.
Love it. The sheer audacity of this lad.
I think this actually, the optimal rocket cycle on this particular level is easier to get on All-Stars.
It feels like it.
That Sniffit can still despawn, even though this is like a fancier system and can handle more. No, it can't handle a few Sniffit bullets. It'll still despawn that Sniffit.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they increased the sprite limit by 1 or 2 on this version, but they did not grace us with that change.
Yeah, they're like, well, we want to keep true to the original, and then they just patch out all the fun stuff.
Yeah, that was that double door entry. Let's go with sub-pixel manipulation there.
Oh, I don't think we mentioned this either. That you have to kill a Birdo and then the orb will spawn out of its mouth. Whereas on the NES, you can kill the Birdo and just immediately grab the orb that was like in its stomach area. But yeah, on this one, you actually have to wait for it to spit it out before you can grab it.
Yeah. So, bummer there, no slot machine victories, but I think Stewie's gonna have enough lives to get through here.
That looks like an interesting interaction with that Sniffit bullet.
Yeah.
Unless I looked at that, it looked like you were on top of it.
What?
What?
Okay.
Excuse me, Ninja. That was very rude.
don't remember pressing Y again. Okay.
Oh, and these patterns are gonna be different on All-Stars. Like the initial sniffets in the first room, they're gonna shoot at different times. And you actually can't do the strat that you do on the NES on this version. You have to like avoid a couple of bullets differently, but another one of those like very minor changes because of when the timer starts in this game.
Oh, is that strat at the beginning like going under? Is that slower on NES?
I don't know if it really makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, it's probably about the same, but it's I think needlessly frisky.
It's actually, well, I guess as Toad it might be fine. It's like Mario, it's actually significantly harder. Because you have to land on the cloud.
Jump height.
Well, yeah, there's a bullet that spawns right above you if you're Mario, and yeah, it's actually really tough to avoid, so... Yeah, on this version, I don't even think you have to worry about that at all if you take the bottom route. I thought I saw a cool kid even not pick up an enemy in the beginning.
I'm not sure.
Come on. Not this again.
They had how many years between versions to clean that chain and get the grease off there? They couldn't do it.
When will they learn?
These OSHA violations are piling up. The shareholders are not pleased.
And I could be wrong. On the GBA version, if you do the like the screen warp, or like at the top, and you get to Birdo, it'll show the key out of Birdo, but you can't pick it up.
Really?
Yeah, you do have to fight the Birdo in the GBA version.
Oh.
And like even if you fight the Birdo when the key is out, it still doesn't do anything. Like you have to go back out and fight the Birdo again.
Oh wow. Why? That's so mean.
Yeah, like it shows that the key is like out, but it's not.
That is interesting that you could jump through those blocks too. Like they don't look like you should really be able to do that, I felt, but for whatever reason they made it but just a few of them you can jump through. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Another interesting thing about the GBA version is that when you save and quit, you can select level other than the first level in a world.
Oh.
And so you actually end up doing more warps in that version.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, so you end up going to 4-2, so you can avoid playing 5-1 and 5-2 and then go directly to 5-3 to warp to 7-1. It's kind of a convoluted route, but it's quite a bit of menuing.
I'm guessing you're
Pause minute.
Yeah, pausing to like hopefully despawn that Birdo egg. Because if you pause, then at the right time it won't shoot the egg, and you can just easily pick up the key. But it's kind of I don't know how long you have to time that, but it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, that was a very frisky door entry too, giving Birdo just a slight peck on the cheek there before entering the door.
Alright, if you get here at like the right time, the sides from the veggie machine will shoot veggies from the same side. It goes like middle and then the right, then middle, then left. So you can at least have an idea of where the veggies are gonna spawn.
That's what that slight delay was for.
Nice.
I'll be
A little short there.
Ooh, I thought that would be a little too high.
So did I.
Nice.
Alright, we're just gonna wait that one out.
Yeah, that looked like it would have been really close. And I love the strat of hitting it from the right side.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so we got time coming up on this door entry.
And he was pausing there. Yo, go ahead.
I was just trying to skip the fanfare music with those pauses, but GG's to Stewie.
Yeah, GG's.
Really nice runs. Love to see it.
Yeah, it's just a fun category to watch.
Would have been nice if someone cleaned up the chains instead of 2, but oh well.
Agreed. But yeah, nicely done. Some really impressive runs, and you get to see a ton of the game category, so it was a really nice showcase of both versions. I hope everyone enjoyed that.
Yeah, we're super grateful that we got to have this on the marathon and got to commentate, so thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys for the run and the commentary. It was a phenomenal run. GG to Stewie. That was just an awesome run.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Alright, everybody. Well, we're going to go ahead and prep for our next run, which is going to be Chrono Trigger Jets of Time Randomizer by Procky and Cthulhu Crisis. So definitely stick around, check out those donations, incentives, and prizes, and we'll be right back.